Okay, so this is the crappy half-inch stuff. Super thin. $50. That's ridiculous. And then even more crappy 3/4 inch. $72. And then we come to the halfway decent stuff. 23/32. Decent on one side, ugly on the other side. Man, prices are ridiculous. So I'm deciding on MDF. Alright, so you saw what we ended up doing there at the big box store. I got cheap and decided there's no way I'm gonna pay $75 for a piece of wood that I would have paid maybe $25 for just before the pandemic struck. So we went with the MDF. I happen to have a lot of varnish at home. A gallon of varnish just sitting in the garage. Well, not in the garage, sitting in storage. And I'm just gonna coat the living daylights out of that MDF that I bought. Here's all the stuff. Now it's time to put it together. All right, now it's time to measure and cut 12 29-inch pieces that will fit right in there. Look, this is how you check a 2x4 to see if it's straight. You look right on down the edge. And this one you can see it's a little bit curved. So we don't need to save this one for the long span. Although we could probably straighten it out. But anyway, we'll go ahead and use this for one of the 29s. Now another trick, so we can cut the next piece, is we're going to use this piece for all 12 to measure instead of having to use measuring tape every single time. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to put this on there and feel with your finger, because your finger can lie. What you want to do is get a block. Put it on the end, and that'll let you know that that's right on. Deckmate deck screws. Now we're making some progress. Alright, so we're starting to put those 2x4s together. You can see this is actually upright. That's the bottom down there. And we're going to take another 2x4 and lay it across the top. And what I'm doing right now is I'm drilling my 45-degree angles into these 2x4s because they're going to go flat on the bottom. And they don't really need to be strong. They could probably be 2x2s. But I'm going to go ahead and keep them 2x4s because that's what I have. And so the way I'm drilling, I'm going to put a screw in like that. And it doesn't always go right if you don't have it pre-drilled. So I'm using this little angle, 45-degree angle, laying my 2x4 on top of it like that. And then I'm just drilling straight down as best I can. And that's it. And I'm going to pre-drill all of these. Here's another trick. If you're cheap like I am and you don't want to get long screws, you can pre-drill those holes huge. How far do you want to sink that? And then you put a little pencil mark like I did at the head of that. And after you've done that, then you can come over here, measure your drill up to that point. Then you can put a piece of tape on it. So you know when you drill down, that's as far as you need to go. Okay, so there's a couple things you can do here. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from that corner to this corner. And I've got 80 1/4. Then I'm going to measure from that corner to this corner, and I've got 80 1/2. So this is too long, so I need to rack it the other way. But the other thing that we've got going for us is I already cut a square rectangle. I'm going to go ahead and bring it out here. We can see I've lined up the sides here and here, and this is the bottom, that's the top. Not that that matters. And we can see as we follow this line, it's racked by about 1/4 inch. So what we need to do, screw these down and then rack those 2x4s over and then screw it down. But before we do that, we're going to put a secret layer because we're eliminating some 2x4s to this build. Here's the secret sauce. Liquid nails, any kind of contractor's glue. We're going to go ahead and lay this all along all of these guys. And that, coupled with all the 2x4s, is serious overkill. I've used this with no nails, no screws, just this, and built a a boat out of milk cartons. Here in Seattle, we've got this thing called a milk carton derby. And all I used was this and milk cartons, and boom, we were able to set sail. We brought it in, and one of the things that I wanted to do before I actually put the side panels on completely is to let it sit on the floor here. The floor isn't 100% true to the 1/16 of an inch. It's, I think, about maybe 3/32 of an inch off on one little corner. And so I wanted to make sure that I brought it here, got it level, and then after that I screwed the side panels on. So that way I can make sure that it's going to be level this way and that there's no twisting and weird configuring going on. My concrete outside isn't straight either, and so that's part of the reason why I felt I needed to bring it in here. So there it is. Not completely done. Still going to skin it around the sides, and I still need to put a chunk of plywood in the front, and that's going to give it some more rigidity in the front, in addition giving it some more sturdiness. But yeah, I could sit on top of this thing, no problem. This is better framing than a house. All right. So one other thing, let me get you up close here. I think I showed you how I did these, how a lot of people are doing them online is they're taking that 2x4, an additional 2x4, and they're putting it from the top of here all the way down to the floor in order to give it some more stability. Get a couple more screws in and a couple screws in on this, but the plywood here does the trick. The plywood also adds some more stoutness. There's no way this thing is going anywhere with that tank on it. And you can see how I did the corners there. Now on the bottom, I had all that's connecting it is 2 screws, one on each side into here. But on the top, you'll notice I did a slightly different configuration because on the bottom I laid the 2x4s flat. But up here, I stood them up, and that allowed me to get this 2x4 across and into, I could put a screw down into this 2x4. So that way this is grabbing the bar up on top. And then this little brace across the side also grabs that same 2x4. And that's going to give us our rigidity on the top. Don't need much on the bottom. We just don't want the bottom to go wee. All right, so we'll keep updating. Put them down in the comments. Psh, that's what they do, right?
What are you doing?